Welcome back to another pre-season Diaries session video. There were a couple of players missing, as you just saw. Di Mattia looks like he's missing through concussion with that big hit with the collision against Will Parker last week. The no Bo, no Cox, no Degoe. Now, Degoe, oh, look, I don't want to sort of start anything, but if he misses Wednesday's training session, that would be a week since those scans and since he said that everything is all good. So it's going to be a sort of a wait and see, and we've said this a couple of times. So that's going to be a little bit interesting, just on if he comes back or if they sort of keep him as a precaution out. He's probably doing training inside, but yeah, just a little bit weird. Reef was participating in most of the drills today. He is still suffering from a bit of a lingering concussion sort of issue. He was in that hit with Bo a couple of weeks ago. Oh, a couple of weeks ago? It was probably, I think it was last week. And he was doing mainly rehab, but it was good to see him out there. He wasn't doing any of the match sim, which comes a little bit later in this video, but it was good that he has been out there. One guy that I noticed a lot of today, and I was really impressed with, was Joel Cochran. Now, Joel, he's probably in line as one of those defenders to sort of replace Howe when Howe needs a replacement. But I still think out of all those three debutants right now at the moment, I've seen a lot more of Will Hayes. You got to remember that Joel Cochran did have a fractured thumb or a fractured sort of finger or something like that. And he was out for about 2 months, so he couldn't really do training. So now he's picking it up a little bit. So I loved what I saw from him, intercepting, bringing the ball to ground, doing everything that an intercept defender should do. And with his speed, he was just bursting through packs.
Good tackle. TJ's. Yeah, something like that. Oh, wait.
When do you reckon he'll play?
Halfway through.
Sure.
Another guy that is finally starting to impress me, and he has been for the last maybe 2 weeks or so, but he really impressed me today. That man there, Darcy Moore. He was flying for everything, and he looks more comfortable now than he has all preseason, and definitely more comfortable. Look, I know it's against his own teammates, so there's no real pressure, but definitely looks more comfortable now than he did at the start of last season when there was no Murphy, especially during training. Now, I think that's because Jeremy Howe has been doing a lot in his Joel Cochran, like we were sort of talking about, and then bang, Darcy Moore comes over the top. That's that intercepting Darcy that we know and love. I think because he has that fallback of Cochran or Howe or Frampton and of Reef. And I think that's going to go far, and it's going to give Darcy Moore the confidence. Because you've got to remember that last season, Darcy Moore was playing the Murphy and the Darcy Moore role, and it just wasn't working out. So now he gets to be a little bit more free and hopefully back to his All-Australian self.
Get that one? I should have walked to Edwards.
Yeah, but if they're over there, then they.
Yeah, I said if you're over there, sure. Not going to do it.
Beautiful kid. Huh?
Very good.
Kept the block.
Towards the end here, they started doing match simulation. So at the start, it was just normal sort of conditioning, classic sort of drills for a Monday morning. So they started at 8 o'clock. They went till about 11:30ish, just because it was going to get really hot later on. But I enjoyed watching this match simulation. A lot of things that were interesting was that they just look at that. That's just that run and carry. The classic Collingwood is back, right? And you'll notice. Well, look, Nick Dacos, that's one thing that you notice. You'll notice as well throughout this footage is that it's mainly the old guys that are doing it. Now, everyone always says, oh, Collingwood can't make the 8 because they're too old, too old, too old, too old. But if you come down to every single training session, you'll see that it's Jeremy Howe who's running and intercepting. It's still Cyberman who's pushing away the younger players. It's Scott Pendlebury who is just Scott Pendlebury. So our older guys are still getting the job done. And yes, it is against Collingwood. I get it. I always have to preface anything that I say because you always have that one idiot that's like, oh, but it's against... I know, it's training. What do you want me to say, brother? So it is interesting that it is our older guys that are sort of running and carrying at the moment, which is, fantastic for us. And I didn't get too much footage of it, but Josh Dacos in this match simulation, running out of halfback with Dan Houston, Braden Maynard, following, was just exquisite to see. Like we said for a while, Josh Dacos has been training with the backs, this whole sort of time, and he'll probably fancy himself on a wing. They'll rotate and stuff like that, but it looks like they want him in that half back line. That run and carry by Houston is just absolutely unreal. And yeah, like I said, because Harry Perryman is going to be in the middle. And look at Will Hayes. Like, this kid is going to debut early on in the season. I can I don't know, I just sense it. I just feel it in my bones. And Bobby Hill, what else can you say about Bobby Hill? He kicks a goal here. But he was just going in and out. I can't wait to see him and Ash at the Indigenous All-Stars game against Freo in a couple of weeks. Ash kicked a couple of goals in match sim as well. But that was pretty much it for this session. It was a nice, easy session before the heat came down and absolutely murdered everyone because it was so bloody hot. They'll be back on Wednesday late afternoon. I think it's about 2:30 to 5:30. I'll see you there. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell your family, tell your friends, tell your pets. And until next time, double shackers. I'll swoop you later.